If you know these 15 words, your English is excellent. These are words that native speakers use to sound educated and professional. We'll start with some fairly common words and will gradually build up to super advanced words. If you know 13 out of 15 of these words, then congratulations! Your English is truly advanced. Here's how this lesson will work. You'll see a word on the screen and have 5 seconds to define that word. Then, you'll learn the definition and pronunciation. You'll review example sentences using that word, and then you'll hear real-world native speakers using that word. If a word is new to you, I suggest that you pause the video and practice using it by making your own sentences. That's such an important part of practice. Are you ready for the challenge? Let's get started. Let's look at the first word. Do you know the meaning of this word? Launch. Launch. It means to begin or to introduce a new plan or product. For instance, the program was launched 5 years ago. We're planning to launch a new internet services company next month.
You guys can't launch a damn thing in cold weather.
The only thing the prosecutor is asking for is permission to launch a formal investigation.
Hendricks needs it to launch a nuclear strike, and we have to shut it down before he gets that chance.
Do you know the meaning of this word? Typical. Typical. If something is typical, it is ordinary or normal. For example, he looked like a typical tourist with his camera and baseball cap. It was a typical Saturday night for us.
So, if you would you walk us through a typical day for you?
A typical affluent American family.
That's how much a typical employer spends flipping through a CV.
Core. Core. It refers to the central or most important part of something. For instance, the core curriculum consists of courses that are required of all students. The government's proposed solution fails to address the core issue.
But just to cut to the chase, you're shifting your core business from chat to trade, yes?
To hell with the core curriculum. Thank you.
Trevor and his TIO team crashed the core router.
Ambiguous. Ambiguous. It refers to something that has unclear meaning, something that can be understood in multiple ways. For example, the man received an ambiguous message from their boss. The question was ambiguous, so I asked for clarification.
Yeah, it was an ambiguous question.
Being ambiguous doesn't make you profound.
I'm afraid that was left ambiguous.
Evolve. Evolve. To evolve means to change or develop gradually or over time. For example, the management team's idea evolved over 2 years. Over the past 3 years, he has evolved into one of America's most successful restaurant owners.
Man, it's amazing your brain doesn't evolve into pudding.
How did you evolve? How did you survive this technological adolescence without destroying yourself?
Oh, he suggested that robots might naturally evolve.
Persuade. Persuade. It means to change the belief or behavior of someone by argument or reason. To illustrate it, the government is trying to persuade consumers to save more. She tried to persuade them that they should leave.
If you can persuade Mama.
What if I say no?
I'll persuade you.
We must persuade Henry to marry Mariah.
Persistent. Persistent. It means continuous, refusing to give up, firm in action or decision. For example, the attorney's persistent questioning unsettled the witness. Her persistent hard work earned her a spot on the team.
She's very persistent.
Damn, Padre. You are persistent, aren't you?
Your collections are persistent and effective.
Affluent. Affluent. Having a lot of money or possessions, rich or wealthy. For instance, he is not from an affluent family, but he worked hard and was able to attend college. We live in an affluent neighborhood.
A typical affluent American family.
Therefore, have a good reason to be affluent.
Apparently, he's been missing for 6 months in some affluent suburb.
Substantial. Substantial. It means large in size, value, or importance. He took a substantial amount of money. They do a substantial portion of their business by phone.
I'm also showing that you netted a substantial payout with the refi.
The awards are substantial.
What am I worth to you?
It was substantial.
Feasible. Feasible. Means able to be made, done, or achieved, possible. With the extra resources, the project now seems feasible. It's no longer feasible to fund this research.
Hey, Alex, tell me it's feasible that a doctor wouldn't have time for all this social media bullshit.
Now that wouldn't be feasible, would it?
With you, who knows?
They are not feasible targets.
Demeanor. Demeanor. It refers to one's way of looking or behaving. The dog was huge, but its friendly demeanor eased my fears. The teacher's friendly demeanor made our first day memorable.
Did you notice anything strange or off about his demeanor?
Can't say I much liked his demeanor.
And I work hard at my courtroom demeanors.
Daunting. Daunting. If something is daunting, it seems difficult to deal with, it is overwhelming or intimidating. The job will seem less daunting if you break it up into smaller elements. The daunting task of finding the right location is faced by many young businesses.
It's a bit daunting, isn't it?
Sort of daunting. Seeing your whole life stretched out in front of you.
Nothing more daunting or exciting than the blank page.
Egregious. Egregious. Means outstandingly bad, shocking. An egregious mistake. An egregious failure. The egregious error. For example, it bothers me that there was an egregious lack of informed consent. I made an egregious mistake on my chemistry test.
Dennis, this is an egregious wrong.
To take another man's life, that is the most egregious sin in the Lord's sight.
You have made egregious errors.
Trite. Trite means overused, lacking originality or freshness. Not new, not original. For example, the movie is packed with obvious and trite ideas. Even good acting couldn't make up for the trite story.
Peter Gibbons, you've led a trite and meaningless life.
Sounds trite and a bit trashy, but give it a go.
No, I found it trite and uninspiring, but something you said resonated.
Distraught. Distraught. Extremely nervous, worried, or upset. For instance, the child was distraught after hearing the bad news. We were all distraught over the loss of our homes in the flood.
Can't you see that I'm distraught?
But when Falcone told him what he'd done, your father was distraught.
He was distraught when he found out that you'd taken all of our research.
How did you do on the test? If you only didn't know 1 or 2 words, congratulations. Your English is excellent. And if a lot of these words are new to you, I suggest you watch this video again, take notes, and make sure that you practice saying these words by making your own sentences. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe because more useful lessons are on the way. See you in our upcoming videos.